quest is actually supposed to be taking place. I think that's the right idea. All right, let's try take number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be checking out the latest update made to Final Fantasy 15. This is a free update that is not related to any of the DLCs that are part of the Season Pass. Now, this is version 1.2, and it's a pretty big one, about 13 gigabytes, and the two biggest things that happen in the main game, there are also changes to the multiplayer and that of Comrades, is that you can now play as any of the 4 bros when in combat, and there are also changes to the timed quests to make it more like it was when they initially came out. So for anyone who doesn't know the time quest thing, it came out early in 2017, and initially they would just kind of give us like weekly quests, and we would just do those, and then we'd get whatever rewards came from it, and we would just move on with our lives. They changed it to be like a competition where like every hour it would like check your score versus other people and then give you quest points that you could exchange for different rewards. The big one here was the Afro Sword, which is basically an Afrojack sword since he was doing a collaboration with them at the time. But that's changed. It's basically just, here's a quest, and go do that quest, and you'll get quest points, and you can trade it in for the stuff now. Which is how it should have been. I didn't like when they made that change to make it like a competition with other players. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. This is worth like 100 quest points, you can see right here. So we're actually going to use that quest to show off the other change, in that you can actually change between the 4 bros in combat now. Now, it's not something that you can get innately. It is something that you will have to go out of your way and unlock in the Ascension Crit itself. Luckily, it's a very simple one. You have change to Prompto here in the technique tree, so it's only like 26 AP plus the 20 AP to change to Prompto. You can do that in the first like 30 minutes of playing the game, to be honest, within reason. Down here is change to Ignis, and over here is change to Gladio. Now, in order to change to a character, once you're in combat, you have to hold L1 and L2 and then select them with the D-pad. So let's find those Bandersnatches. I've equipped everyone with slightly weaker weapons to hopefully not kill them all immediately. If I do end up killing them all immediately, I can just respawn the Bandersnatches for the time quest. So, a nice 100 minutes that I have to actually kill. Oh, there's like 9 Bandersnatches. Oh, this is perfect. So, in order to change, we'll hold L1 and L2, and then it'll pop up with this menu. So, for example, if I pick Prompto, it'll change to Prompto, and then he'll play just like he does in his main game. So you can see he can run, he can gun, he can switch between his different weapons. Got the machine gun right here, which, as you can see, I'm mowing him down real quick. Got the rocket launcher, which does a pretty good amount of damage. And then we have the grenades. He actually controls fairly well. He definitely controls better than controls better than Noctis does with guns and these kind of things. But it's because he had his whole DLC basically to try and get his controls working correctly. He does, of course, also have his abilities, Selfie Shot, Star Shell, Trigger Happy. So you do also have your controls for your team attacks, but you just do them on your own, and you have specifically the ones that he has from his own DLC as well. So keep that in mind when you're playing as one of the bros. You do not have control as Noctis to initiate the commands to your fellow bros. So you are giving that up as one of the things you're doing when playing as one of the bros. So we can then immediately switch to another one. Let's switch to Gladdy Daddy right here. Lags a little bit, I'm noticing, and I am on a PS4 Pro right here. And so his main mechanic is Rage, where you basically have to block attacks and then like perfect counter them in order to build Rage. And when you do that, you get stronger. Basically, Rage determines what your damage numbers are like. And then he has, as you fill his other gauge, which is the one to the top right there, you can also access your special attacks as well. Against Bandersnatches, don't know how well I'm going to be able to do perfect frames, if at all. It's been a while since I played as Gladio, and he was always kind of like the most technical of them, where his was very much like a parry-style gameplay. And I don't seem to be having much luck with it right here. There we go. And then you can use triangle to use the gauge that you've filled and execute stronger attacks. The higher your rage, the more damage you'll do. So Gladio, because he can block, pretty good at handling enemies like this, so they don't actually deal damage to him. He's just not as warpy to play as Noctis. And then we have Ignis. Now, Ignis is brand new to the gameplay. In fact, his episode, his DLC, is not even out yet. So we should get a little tutorial on how to actually play as Ignis when we switch to him. So Ignis's spell daggers can be imbued with elemental properties. Press up left or right to switch elemental enhancements. Press up to flame bind your spell daggers. Blades imbued with fire type elemental energy are strong against single targets. Press left to frost bind them, or deal damage to enemies around the target. And storm bind allows the enemy to zip across the field to strike far away foes. That's how you're able to like get a lot more mobility with that. String together consecutive hits to increase your damage output. Hold triangle to collect your thoughts and focus, or dodge attacks and land counter strikes to fill the yellow meter. Then press triangle when the meter is full to gain total clarity, allowing you to target and attack multiple enemies at once. When you gain total clarity, your spell daggers perform differently depending on their elemental enhancement. Flamebound daggers strike a single target a lot of times. Frostbound daggers strike multiple enemies at once. And Stormbound daggers deal incredible damage to shocked enemies. So, excuse me. With him, it'll probably take some getting used to, but he also, of course, has his other attacks, his L2 attacks as well. So, this is total clarity right here. That allows me to charge up total clarity, I should say. And then, we got multiple enemies here, so let's go with that, and we'll use total clarity. And he'll throw a dagger. It looks like he throws the dagger at multiple enemies. Let's see. We'll just stand there to get total clarity. We probably want to actually land some hits first, so you can see that when I have the frostbound daggers, all of my attacks have this like AoE around me. Oh, and he also gets these like button prompts that are kind of weird. I wasn't expecting those. Wasn't mentioned in high detail, to say the least. And then total clarity. Targets a bunch of different body parts and throws the different ones. You can see with the flame daggers landing a bunch of hits. No, we're not running. He does a lot of damage against these guys. And then we have finally the actual shock daggers, which basically give him hyper mobility. Probably feels the most like Noctis, I'd have to imagine, considering the situation here. It's weird. I keep not expecting those button prompts because I didn't know what they were all about. Alright, and then let's see what total clarity looks like in the Spellblade mode. Alright, basically summons lightning down. It's almost like he's a mage in a sense. Alright, and then, of course, you can switch back to Noctis himself. At this point, kind of wishing I hadn't thrown on weaker weapons just for the sake of doing this quest, so I guess we might as well finish the time quest, which is what we're actually doing right here in the first place. So it looks like the counter-strikes are the ones that are causing those. So basically, when I actually get hit, I can hit square and then circle real quick to actually do a legit counter-strike, like that. There you go. Now that I know that, it's just anytime you take a hit, that's what you would do. Unless, I guess, you want to change weapons, which is what I just did right there. Yeah, Ignis's gameplay is pretty interesting compared to the other two. I still think Gladio's is the most, I guess, satisfying to do well with, but I gotta say, I do like Ignis right here. And then everyone can argue over who's best bro. I really like the lock-on because it's good at hitting all the body parts. And that could be something that's a little tedious, because knocking these guys over has been, I'd say, fairly easy. I just realized, what song is playing right now? Is this the Afrojack song? It's been so long since I've heard it that I just don't remember what it is. Alright, and then we'll kill this last one, and then you'll see what happens when you actually end battle as one of the bros. Because one of the big things is you don't actually get to play as the bro all the time. You only get to play as Noctis when you're not in combat. So as soon as combat ends, we should see Noctis just switch spots with me. Although it's probably going to lag like all the other party switches were. But it's nice to be able to play as all the different bros. So it says complete. At some point soon it should switch. There's the quest points, and then Noctis will land right where you were, and you'll go back to controlling him. So you can't just walk around as any of the other bros. And if you wanted to restart a timed quest, there should be like an exclamation mark nearby. But anyway, that's just the gist of the updates to the main game regarding playing as each bro. Like I said, if you're not going to pick the game up and play it again, totally understandable. But for the PC players, that's something that you have something to look forward to when it comes out on PC in early 2018. But on that note, that's going to be a wrap for the single-player portion of the update for 1.20. Be sure to do that update if you want to get access to all this stuff. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go work on a Comrades video now real quick. So I will see you guys in the next one. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you then. Until then, take care.